Hey, and welcome to Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hi, it's Turo here, and welcome back to the Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast. Today, I'm really excited because we are talking about something that affects almost every woman over 40, but most people don't get that right help for it. And honestly, most doctors don't even bring it up. And we are talking about hormones, perimenopause, menopause, brain fog, mood swings, weight gain around the belly, sleep struggles, all the things many women think are just aging when they are actually signs of hormone decline. My guest today is Dr. Melissa Miskell. She's certified gynecologist with over 30 years of experience, and she has helped thousands of women get their energy, clarity, and confidence back through bioidentical hormone therapy and a root cause approach. What I love about Dr. Miskell is that she refused to accept the old story that women just have to suffer through menopause. She kept researching, she kept helping her patients, and she has a very simple and a very practical way of explaining what's actually happening in the body and what women can do to feel better, often very quickly. So whether you are in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, or even beyond, this episode is going to help you understand your body in a whole new way. So that was some kind of introduction. I hope I didn't miss something. Welcome to my show, Dr. Miskell.
Thank you so very much for having me today. I appreciate it. And that's one of the things we love to do is disseminate information, give information to women who may be going through perimenopause or menopause and not understand what's happening or getting bad advice.
Yeah. So I want to know a little bit about you, your background, and what led you to specialize in women's hormones and menopause care.
So I'm a board certified obstetrician gynecologist and have been practicing for about 30 years. And when I first went into private practice a few years later, the Women's Health Initiative trial came out in the US and basically said that hormones were the devil, gonna cause breast cancer, heart disease, dementia. And so as a gynecologist, I, along with every other physician, we pulled our patients off of their hormone replacement therapy due to the Women's Health Initiative trial. The problem with that over the next couple of years is that it started to be recognized that this trial was terrible. It was very poorly done and should never have been published at all. So a lot of research began to be done on hormone replacement therapy and how beneficial it was for women. And so really, I had a patient of mine that came to me that was a breast cancer survivor. And she said, I can't live like this anymore. I am miserable and my life is not worth living. And this was probably in about 2005. And so from there, I kind of started doing my own research because they didn't teach us anything about bioidentical hormones in medical school or residency. And just following that path to try and help my patients is where I designed a hormone injection that is once a month that is specific for each woman. So that's kind of my journey into hormone replacement, really at the behest of my patients being very miserable.
Mm. Was this kind of a moment when you realized that those women were being misdiagnosed with the depression or anxiety, or when was the moment? And when you had that moment, and when the real issue was actually hormones and not that actually that depression and anxiety.
Yes, well, I had hundreds, if not thousands, of patients by that time who would go to their family practice doctor typically and be depressed, but not really depressed, but diagnosed that way. Mood swings,
Mhm.
vaginal dryness, brain fog, insomnia. And so they would be typically prescribed three medications:
Uh-huh.
Xanax for anxiety, an antidepressant, and a sleep medication.
Mm.
And so they would be given three pharmaceuticals that they didn't need when
Mm.
all they needed was to have their hormones checked.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is then what are like the first like if you what are the first like kind of hormonal changes that typically start around the age of 40?
Uh, your hormones can start to decline even earlier than that, even as early as 35,
Mm.
because it is kind of a slow decline. Women have three hormones that they're most important to their bodies: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone.
Mm.
The one that typically declines the first is progesterone.
Mm.
And so that's when the inability to sleep kind of comes in.
Mm.
And mood swings some. Testosterone is next, which is going to affect your energy and your libido, your sex drive.
Mm.
And estrogen is usually the last. So the hot flashes and that kind of thing typically don't start until closer to 50.
Mm.
But the decline of all of those hormones is a progression. So that's why it's very important for women to get their hormone levels checked so that they have a baseline when they're probably in their late 30s.
Uh-huh. And why do you think that doctors often miss that perimenopause?
Well, the main reason is they're scared to death of hormones.
Mm.
So we have been trained that hormones are terrible. They cause cancer, they cause heart disease. That's just how physicians are trained.
Mm.
And so they're very unwilling to prescribe hormone therapy. That's just the norm.
Uh-huh. And what is then if you think that those symptoms what you should be if listeners they are having like all these kind of like fatigue, brain fog, maybe weight gain around the belly, insomnia,
Mhm.
mood swings, what you already mentioned. What are those symptoms you should never ignore?
Well, the symptoms that we're talking about are the ones that make women miserable, right? So
Mm.
hot flashes. You have a CEO that's in a board meeting and she's drenched in sweat.
Uh,
Um, Vaginal dryness, which is going to impede women with their sexual activity.
mm.
Mood swings, brain fog. That's one of the big ones where you just can't remember anything like you used to. And you think that you're getting old, you're
Uh,
getting dementia. So those are the things that affect our daily living. But really, what's more important for a woman's health is the protectiveness that estrogen has for their bones and their heart and their brain.
hmm. And what is then like you like you said that like what is then like because someone might be thinking like that this is it's part of aging like you don't remember any some things anymore or if there is some brain fog like could you explain what is the difference like between normal aging versus hormonal imbalance?
Well, normal aging especially if you're talking about something like dementia, unless it's a very aggressive form. But just typically, that's not going to occur until you're in your 70s.
Mm,
And so if you're in your 40s and 50s and you are having trouble remembering things, you feel like your moods are just uncontrollable all over the place, uh, those are signs of menopause,
uh-huh,
not of early dementia or that
mm,
type of thing. So it's again very important to get your labs tested. That's the most important thing for women that are having those types of symptoms.
hmm. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the hormone replacement therapy, like what women are getting wrong. Like, what are for you the biggest myths about hormone replacement therapy?
Well, the biggest myth, and I'm not sure if this is widely known, but the FDA has just pulled the black box warning for estrogen, which has been on estrogen since the Women's Health Initiative trial. So for 23 years, the FDA has said that women should not be prescribed estrogen.
Uh,
And so that is the number one myth.
mhm.
Estrogen has been shown now to be the number one thing that relieves hot flashes, vaginal dryness, mood swings, and brain fog. It also, the number one killer of women is heart disease.
Mm,
Most women die from heart disease, which is not widely known. Most women think that they're going to die of cancer,
uh-huh.
but heart disease is far and above more deadly than all cancers combined.
Oh,
And so, way more deadly than breast cancer. Women who have survived from breast cancer, which is about 95% of women survive from breast cancer now, they're going to die from heart disease.
uh-huh.
And so estrogen is the number one thing that is preventative for women for heart disease and osteoporosis and Alzheimer's.
Wow. Uh, what is then like with that heart hormone replacement therapy? Because what I hear a lot is that there was some studies earlier that it's dangerous. There was like a famous women's health
Right.
initiative study, and what did that? But there was something that study got something wrong. What was wrong with that study?
Right. That study was terrible. And so it has been completely nullified now. But what that study showed, so unfortunately, the average age of women in that study was 63,
Wow.
which is 10 years beyond
Yeah.
menopause. And so they also did not take women that were symptomatic. 50% of the women were smokers,
Oh.
50% were obese, and a large percentage already had heart disease.
Wow.
And so the cohort that they were watching was already so damaged that it was not a valid study. So that is the real problem with the Women's Health Initiative trial.
Uh-huh.
So that's where estrogen got its bad rap,
Mhm.
is from that trial that it caused breast cancer and heart disease. And so we know now that is just not true. It is a huge mistake that the medical community made in believing that trial and not looking at the science behind it.
Yeah.
So now all of that is being done, and that's why the warning label has been taken off of estrogen. We
Yeah.
actually know now that it is very beneficial.
Yeah. And this is when was this study done? Do you remember?
2002.
2002. And it's still like, but that is why it's so important to stay updated with all these things like that. There might be like, because these things are changing all the time. And if we would have this conversation like 2003, when that study just came out, you probably would have totally different opinion. And
Correct.
now with the knowledge what is all the time, and coming up new studies, new trials, understanding the science like you mentioned, it's all the time going on, and there is happening something. So this is and it's of course like a normal consumer or people who is not maybe into science or doing this in daily job, they might have heard about that study or someone have mentioned it, someone is making some social media content, and obviously like nowadays how information is getting, you get to somewhere, somebody is doing some video, like probably if you would think that you see in social media, you most likely would see that this one is dangerous or killing, it's getting so much more attention than someone is saying that no, that's actually, it's okay. So
Yeah.
obviously so many people still believe that that's the uh, truth what is out there, and it's a myth what is not uh, updated information anymore.
Right. Well, now that this has come out from the FDA, then I think physicians are just very concerned about um, litigious types of things, being sued for doing the wrong thing.
Mm,
And so that's why most physicians would not prescribe estrogen because of this black box warning.
mhm,
And so now that it's been released, the problem that's going to happen is that physicians will go back to prescribing what we used to prescribe, which is Premarin and Provera,
mm,
because that's really all they know about. And the detriment to that is that Premarin is made from pregnant mare urine. That's where the name comes from. So it's equine estrogens, and a whole group of them. I think there's 20 plus different estrogens in that. So that's what we're giving women is horse estrogen.
wow.
I know, right? The other part of that, progesterone, so Prempro, Provera is a progestin, which is a man-made molecule. It's
Mhm,
not progesterone, which is bioidentical or what a woman's body naturally makes. So women are going to have to be very smart and very aware of what hormones are being prescribed to them.
mhm,
So the alternative for that is a bioidentical hormone, which is estradiol and progesterone.
mhm,
Testosterone should also be in there as well because women also make testosterone.
mm,
So that would be something that I would really want women to know is to be aware of what you're being prescribed for your hormone replacement.
mhm. And what is then, like you mentioned that bioidentical hormones, what is the difference between synthetic and versus those bioidentical hormones? Like, and how you can know
Yes.
what you are prescribed?
So bioidentical hormones are going to be the exact chemical formulation of what a woman's body makes,
Mm,
or a man's if they're getting testosterone. And so that means that it's going to work in your body the same way that your natural hormones that
mm,
your ovaries made are going to work. So you have to one go to a practitioner that you have researched some and that they will prescribe bioidentical hormones. And you'll know because Premarin and Provera or any other pharmaceutical like that, you'll be able to tell what that name is. Estradiol and progesterone are going to say that on the prescription.
uh-huh, uh-huh. And what is then, who would be then like a good candidate for that bioidentical hormone therapy, and who is then not?
So there are a few, like someone with an active cancer does not need to take bioidentical hormone or any hormones.
Mhm,
That's really probably the uh, most important thing. There are a couple of unusual clotting diseases or disorders that those women also should not take hormones. But other than that, the they're the hormones that you used to make before you went into menopause.
mhm.
So they're incredibly safe. They prevent breast cancer, prevent heart disease, prevent dementia.
Wow.
Yeah. So as well as get eliminating all the other uh, symptoms that actually affect a woman's daily living.
Mhm. It was that is like what I have heard from my clients. Like some of them that hormonal replacement therapy have been really helpful for someone. It didn't help that much. What is like? Is there some kind of rule? What would you say that okay, this person I would recommend for hormonal replacement therapy, or at least to try it? Or is there someone like some like red flags or something like that? Okay, this might be, or is it able that all people should be trying it? Or
So as long as you don't have the clotting disorder or active cancer,
yes,
then every woman should try it. So what I would tell someone who doesn't feel like they are getting any relief
mhm,
is that they don't have the right dosage. So that's the other thing with Premarin and Provera. Every woman got the same dose,
yeah,
exactly the same. With bioidentical hormones, you can adjust that dosing so
yes,
that it fits that woman specifically.
yeah, and then is it then like that you obviously you can't probably know, or you can only guess what is the right doses in the beginning, and then you see if it's helping. Do you adjust the doses and see how it works, or how is it working in a practical field?
Yes. And so at my clinics, what we do is we draw a woman's lab at the very beginning. And so she comes in to see the practitioner already having her labs. So the practitioner then talks to her about her symptoms, which are actually more important than what her labs show because it's her life and what she's living. So we design an injection with estrogen and testosterone that is going to fit that woman's symptoms.
Mhm,
And then they get progesterone orally.
mhm,
And so then we see them back in a month and we have their labs again.
mhm,
So then we can see, are they better or not?
mhm,
Are they still having hot flashes? Then we need to increase their estrogen.
mhm,
Or is their libido still not great? Then we need to increase their testosterone. And
mhm,
we have their labs so that we're never going outside of a range that is going to get
mhm.
them too high. Also, we'll know if they're still too low. So that's the thing about bioidentical hormones is that you can make it specific for each woman.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Like I said, I'm maybe my questions are like 'cause I'm not any specialist on this, but I'm so curious just to learning how this process is working, and uh, and thank you so much for explaining it so simple way. It's so helpful for me and hopefully listeners too. So next one, I wanted to talk a little bit about symptoms that women are medicated for that are actually hormonal. So,
Mhm.
as you said that many women are prescribed antidepressants, anxiety meds, or sleep meds when the real issue is hormone decline. Why does this happen?
Well, it happens because physicians don't want to prescribe hormones because
Mm,
they're scared to death of them. And so if a woman comes in and she's like, "Oh, I have these mood swings and I can't sleep and I also have anxiety when I'm driving or something, those types of things," then a physician is just going to write a prescription that handles that specific symptom.
mm,
So that's why women, I have women all the time that come in, they're like, "Well, I got this antidepressant, but I don't think I'm depressed. I
mm,
just have these moments when I have this brain fog that I can't remember." And so just all of these symptoms that are not actually for antidepressants. And the women typically are the ones who are like, "But I'm not depressed."
yeah.
And so the antidepressants will just make them numb.
Mm,
That's what they do.
yeah.
You just really you don't cry, you don't laugh, you're
Mhm.
just no
Yeah.
emotion.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm originally from Finland, so that is like Finnish, typical Finnish Finnish people without any any emotions. So no, but it's just a joke aside. So is there like how would you then kind of woman know if her symptoms are rather like are hormonal rather than physiological thing?
Well, so I have a website called feelbetterfromday1.com. Uh, and on that website, there's a whole list of symptoms that you can have from low estrogen, low progesterone, and low
Mhm.
testosterone. So that would certainly there's Google that can help with that as well.
Uh-huh.
But if you have those symptoms listed, you should have your hormones checked.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And of course it's often it's so hard to recognize, like, or if it's like a physio uh, psychological uh, or hormonal issue, and of course they are, if I understood correctly, they are kind of overlapping also.
Hmm. Yes. The most important thing, though, is that women understand that they don't have to feel this way. This is not what their new norm is. This is not a part of healthy aging. So there is relief from their symptoms.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's there are many. Would you say then, like that? How many, like, if you think percentage, like how many women are having some kind of that kind of like issues or struggles during the menopause that they would need hormonal replacement therapy, or who would say that, you just wait and pass? Like, what is the, like, around percentage?
So there's only about 20% of women, maybe even a little less, are have no menopausal symptoms.
Wow.
There are some women that are like that. The vast majority, 80%, maybe more, have some sort of hormonal symptom.
Mhm.
But the thing that's also important to remember is the protectiveness that estrogen has that does not have anything really to do with fixing those symptoms.
Mhm.
Heart disease, bone disease, and dementia are also very, very much dependent on the decrease in estrogen that women have in menopause. So, estrogen is protective for your heart, your bones, and your brain.
Mhm.
So, even women who aren't symptomatic should still be on estrogen therapy.
Wow. No, because this is something like I would never think about it even, and probably listeners like who are listening who don't have like any, but like when you say it like that, it's still there is no like negative side, if I understood
Correct.
correctly. So
That's
it's
correct. It's
it's
very
only it's
protective.
only like, even regardless if you have symptoms or not, it should be first of all to get checked, and then even in the worst case you get get it get it. It's there is no real like it's only possible benefits what you are getting from it.
Right. And I mean, the benefits last your entire life.
Mm.
So a third of our lives are spent in menopause. So the average age of death at this point is around 80. Menopause is
Mm.
around 50. So we still have 3 decades
Oh
left.
yeah.
And so certainly you want to feel your best and most optimal,
Hmm.
and not think at 55 like this is it. This is as good as it's going to be.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's very important.
Oh yeah. What about then, like, one of the most common, like, when people, like, let's say that they come to work, they search fitness coach or they want to lose weight, they have gained weight suddenly, and what they complain to me, or what I hear is that they suddenly gain fat in their belly
Mhm.
area, and even they haven't changed their diet. So why is that happening?
Yeah, and that is definitely hormonal. And so as your estrogen and progesterone and testosterone start to decline, then you start to lose muscle mass, and the muscle mass will go as into fat.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the main reasons that you get that spare tire
Yeah.
kind of fat around your middle is just that decline in your hormones that makes a change in your body.
Uh-huh. And why is there some reason like why it's specifically on a belly area? Like is it due those hormonal changes or what is the root cause of that? It's like if it was earlier, let's say that it was in your legs or hips, and now all of a sudden it's you like maybe legs or hips are not changing, but you are suddenly gaining fat more on belly area.
Right. And sometimes, it can be estrogen related, definitely. Sometimes it's cortisol related because that's where you accumulate fat as you age, is more in that belly area. And you actually start, losing muscle from your hips and legs.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And what about then? What about like this is still one of the most common ways, like that, then many people think that, I want to lose it. So it's either eating less or moving more and or even exercising on that problem area. Like let's say that if you have gained belly fat, you are doing maybe more ab exercises because you think that
Mhm.
it's going to help to burn more fat on that specific area. Is there like what is still the way how you are still, is there some way how to lose fat in specific area or how in people in menopause? Because is there some difference how fat loss is, how you are able to losing fat and what it changes if you are in your 20s, if you are in your 40s in menopause? Is there some difference how you are losing fat?
Well, there really isn't, as far as if you're not going to do hormone replacement.
Mhm.
If you do hormone replacement, you're going to see a difference in that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's so frustrating, right? That it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, well, eat less or,
Yeah.
increase your cardio. And women will be so frustrated with that because they're just not seeing any change at all.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that's what I was just curious. I didn't want to lead you to give you the answer what I actually wanted to hear because it's often like it's so misunderstood theme like that because things what you would have maybe worked in your 20s or 30s and then at that age you think that okay, in my 20s I was just fasting or just not eating or eating less for a month or 2 months, whatever how long it took, and I got rid of my fat, and now
Right.
the same things are not working, or even if they work, they you are not able to maintain those results
Mhm.
very long. It's all of a sudden you recognize and that all that fat have come back, usually even
Yeah.
more, and that is like still like because there is no it's still that calorie deficit, but also you have to like especially at that age you have to do some kind of resistance training to at least to maintain your muscle mass because what
Mhm.
happens then with the metabolism you are anyway losing already muscle mass, and if you don't maintain your muscle mass metabolism amount of calories you need, it's going to decline, and it means that to maintain everything you need all the time less and less calories, and of course those hormonal changes they affect also on a place where you are gaining the fat but still losing the fat. It's still the same principles as always, it's just a lot harder.
Right. Well, and the loss of testosterone for women is also going to affect their muscle mass.
Yeah.
So it just makes it worse.
How does it, what kind of role that estrogen is playing in your metabolism? Could you explain it a bit more?
As what estrogen is?
Yeah, no, yeah, and how what kind of role it's playing in your metabolism?
Yeah, so estrogen is anabolic. And so it's going to help you burn fat. It also is works against inflammation. It dilates your blood vessels, so it makes everything work faster and better.
Hmm.
Um, that's, some of the metabolic areas where progesterone is gonna be helpful.
Uh-huh.
So, and testosterone, of course, is gonna help build muscle mass.
Uh-huh.
So that's where its role comes in.
Hmm. Uh, what is then the role of hormone replacement therapy that with the fat loss or cravings, can it help?
I mean, it is going to help with fat loss. It will help redistribute that.
Mhm.
Cravings is another, that's kind of its own kind of deal.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure I've seen anything where hormones actually will help with food cravings.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No, no, because it's just I want to know, 'cause, nowadays you see all kind of things in social media, what people are telling, and it's this kind of information. It's so helpful to hear someone like with your experience and a science background. So thank you. So what is then if like you think that now this conversation got some thoughts that maybe that I need to get some labs done. So was most doctors they only test that TSH and what labs every woman over 40 should be testing?
Well, definitely, just generally, you should have a complete blood count and a chemistry panel.
Mm-hmm.
For your hormones, you should have estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 40 to 55, you should also have a hormone called FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. That's the hormone that gives us some idea of where you are in perimenopause and menopause. So those are the main hormones that I would recommend.
Uh-huh. And what is then when you get those results? What is then what numbers matter the most?
Well, so again, we don't look at just lab values. Now the FSH is a standard number. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna if it's over 24, you're in menopause.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if it's like 8, then you're still probably menstruating. But if a woman doesn't have a uterus, then she doesn't know that. Um, and so, but the other three hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, I don't really care so much what their lab values are. I care what their symptoms are.
Mm.
And then we put those things together because every woman's different.
Yeah.
So my testosterone might be mid-range and I'm completely happy with that. There might be another woman who has that same level and her libido is terrible. So
Uh-huh.
she wants her testosterone to be higher.
Yeah.
So some women have worse hot flashes than others, so their estrogen might need to be higher. So as far as what the lab values are, we just use those as a marker for
Mm-hmm.
evaluating symptoms.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes so much sense. Like and it's we you still have probably like some kind of markers what you ideally where you should be, but even if you are in a average range or something, but you still have those symptoms, it might be because it values are not same for each person, like you
Right.
said.
Exactly.
So that is so important. So what is then if you get would you contact them to your with some with the doctor or how you when you get those tests done and talk like someone like in your practice or what would be then when you get those labs done? What are then the next steps?
Right. So then they would meet with a practitioner. Yes. And
Yeah.
so they get those labs done before they ever see a practitioner. And so that way the practitioner can look at their symptoms and what their lab results are and design a hormone injection for them that they get that day. So
Mm-hmm.
hence why we say feel better from day one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if then, because I want to end this like with some like practical action steps. So
Mhm.
if someone who is listening now is feeling exhausted, is having those brain fogs or foggy and feeling like stuck, what is the first step she should take?
The first step is going to be to find a practitioner that is willing to draw labs that does this type of medicine.
Mm,
So, in the US, we call them functional medicine doctors, and they're all, medical physicians, but
Mhm.
they just think about things a little bit differently. So that's the very first step is to just talk to your friends, see if anybody has anyone, or do a search to see who might be a bioidentical doctor or a functional medicine doctor.
Mhm. And then they are able to help from that point on, or and then it's coming those lab tests or
Yes, they should it not people most doctors don't practice the way I do and have labs
Mhm.
drawn first so that we can
Yeah.
treat them right that day. Most doctors are going to have them come in, have a meeting, and then draw labs and come back.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh, and is there then some like lifestyle habits that are supporting healthy hormones?
So that goes into probably everything that you teach your clients.
Hmm.
A good diet, enough sleep, some exercise, all of those things are going to help your hormones to work better, and just make your life happier.
Yeah, yeah. And what is like, is it, what is the best or most effective way? I don't say best, but most effective way, is it like kind of combination of both? Could it be only hormonal replacement therapy or only like those healthy habits or does it also depend on person?
Well, I think if a woman is symptomatic, then hormones are going to be essential. And when that happens and they get their life back, then the lifestyle stuff is just so much easier. So
Mm-hmm.
much easier to eat healthy when you're happy with yourself and you're not going to starchy, sugary foods for that kind of satisfaction because you already feel good about yourself. It makes you want to exercise more,
Mm-hmm.
eat healthy, all of those things fall into place.
Yeah, no, so it's kind of like a cycle. What you are then, when you get first step rolling, then it's second step is a lot easier because it's like in my world, like what I see, like when people are like I understand like most people like they are busy, and then we find these excuses for ourselves or always they are not even excuses, they are real life situations. You are telling yourself that you don't have time, you are so exhausted, you
Yeah.
don't feel like working out, and then they are not working out, and then of course how that is leading, you are going to feel you are have lower energy throughout the day, then your diet is going to go a little bit off. It makes everything even worse, and when you start step by step uh, reversing this cycle and getting a little bit like doing at least something instead of just doing nothing, at least starting building habits, and then you start to feel so all of a sudden a bit better. uh, you are eating automatically if you are working out or going at least for walks. You are most likely eating already or making better decisions with your food, which again helps with the sleep, helps with everything, and so it's kind of positive cycle where you get into it, and it's I think it's the same thing with those hormones. Like it's just a one step, which should be then repeated or helping to take even more steps on a way.
Yes, I completely agree.
Uh, so then, how long does it take, or how quickly do women feel better with the proper hormone treatment?
So there are different ways to do hormone treatment. You can take it orally, which is the worst way because then it goes through the second pass of the liver and then systemically. But you can take them orally. You can do a transdermal patch, which everybody absorbs differently. So again, it's hard to regulate. We, like I said, do injections, which is very easy to regulate and gets into your system automatically. So most women feel better within 7 to 10 days.
Wow, that is
Yeah, it's
already like
pretty, it's
it's
dramatic.
yeah. Wow, wow. Uh, so I wanna ask some like personal questions. So, what are what is for you most surprising symptom of menopause? Do women mention that the most? Like,
The probably the number one thing is hot flashes. That's
Mhm.
just the number one thing that women, when they start having them, then they're like, they usually typically would know that that's menopause.
uh
So that's the number one symptom.
Okay. What is then what frustrates you the most about how women are treated in traditional medicine?
Oh, you mean not heard at all?
Mhm.
That women are, I have another colleague of mine who her favorite thing to say is, I am not a little man,
Mhm.
because all of medicine is geared off of men.
Mhm.
And so it's super frustrating that women just don't have a voice.
Mhm.
And that's why it's important to find a physician that will listen to you, actually listen to you
Mhm.
about what your symptoms are. It's very frustrating. I hear that all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And what is then one thing you wish every doctor understood about menopause?
That it is not normal aging. It does not have to be like that. That is what I wish everyone understood, is that this is not normal. These are symptoms that can be alleviated with hormones that are what your body made. And so it you do I mean, that's the number one thing that male doctors love to
Uh,
say is, well, you're just going to have to deal with it. This is
yeah,
normal aging. It is
yeah.
not.
Yeah, because that is what I hear like when I work with the women, and it's often they are just saying that it is what it is, and it's probably like becoming a normal thing, like if you, especially if you are somewhere that it's not so common, or your friends haven't went through,
Mhm.
or someone who you know, because often these are things like that. If you know someone personally, it's a different thing. You might have heard about it, but if you don't know anyone who have went through it, who have been it, that it have been actually helpful, and if all your friends are going through the same things and they are just saying that that's the normal thing, it's part of aging, it's part of being at this age, that these things are normal, and that is actually, it's must be frustrating to hear, or it's, at
Yes,
least for me, it's frustrating to hear those things, and when I say that no, it don't have to be that way.
correct. Yeah, very frustrating.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I really really enjoyed talking, learning from you. Where can listeners find your clinic? Do you have some resources, or learn more
Mhm.
about your hormone blueprint?
Yes. So feelbetterfromday1.com is where people can go, and there's a lot of information on that website about hormones and specific what the hormones will help with is symptomatically.
Mhm.
Um, and our clinic is called Hormones by Design. Uh, and so either one of those websites will give them tons of information.
Mhm. And I will put those all those links to show notes. So please make sure you check them from show notes. And is there some is do you have any social media, anything else you want to share?
Uh, we have a Facebook page, but typically it would just be better just to go to the website.
Yeah, yeah. Got it, got it. And what is one message you want every woman to hear about aging and hormones?
The number one thing is find a doctor that will listen to you, and hormones will change your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Miskell, for sharing your time, your wisdom. I really, really appreciate it. I hope also listeners appreciate it. And I hope if you learn to understand how your symptoms and your body just to feel even a little bit better. And if you took something valuable from this episode, share it with a friend, a sister, a colleague, someone who is struggling with low energy, sleep problems, or weight changes and feels like that they are not getting real answers. You can find all Dr. Miskell's links, clinic information, and resources in the show notes. And if you want support with strength training, improving your habits, or creating a balanced lifestyle, you can always check my coaching options at personaltrainer.com. Thank you again for being here. And you are not behind, you are just getting started. Have an amazing day. Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.